Welcome to Spoon Mob. It's the place to find great chef interviews, interviews with sommeliers, course breakdowns, restaurant experience recaps, food and travel news, and a whole lot of stuff in between. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Spoon Mob. Visit the website spoonmob.com. And don't forget to check out the podcast. We're available on all major podcast platforms. So give us a listen, give us a follow. Welcome to Spoon Mob.
Welcome. Take a deep breath, everybody, because you are now entering the land of milk and honey, the land of sugar and chocolate and everything nice. Because you are now listening to Candy is Dandy, the world's only candy review podcast, where in each episode... Oh my God, the birds are loose!
All those peeps I just ate came alive inside of me.
You mean you ate 2 weeks?
2 weeks ago. Yeah. They have risen.
So if you haven't listened to the show before, we will start by talking about making references to episodes from 2 weeks ago. We'll do a little candy news. We pick a different candy each week. We'll give the history. We'll taste it, review it. We'll play a little game, and that's it. This is Daniel Zafran. Beto Sistos.
Ray Gonzalez.
And we are the newest K-pop band.
We're still learning how to dance, so be nice to us.
First, we have to learn how to speak Korean. So, as always, we've got a top of the show.
Top of the show to you.
Okay, so this goes back a little bit because we had other more pressing top of the show matters to be talking about. But we had wondered in the Sweethearts episode for Valentine's Day.
Whatever.
What?
We wondered if elementary school kids still did the Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so.
Exchanges like we do. I asked my sister, who teaches first grade, and the answer is a resounding yes.
Oh, yay.
Not only that, it's everything's bigger. This is like the Jurassic World to our Jurassic Park that we grew up in.
Oh my God.
Not only do they bring out giant, she showed me a picture. The kids each bring like a giant shopping bag full of things to hand out. And the kids absolutely love it.
Yeah, they do.
Great.
I do.
A massive amount of candy is exchanged because love never dies.
Wow. Candy is going to bring world peace.
Yeah, I agree.
It really is.
That's it.
Yeah.
World peeps? Did you say world peeps?
My stomach just clenched when you said it.
It's good to know that that's still going on because that was that's some of my most precious memories from elementary school.
Some of the best crushing experiences of my life were on the Valentine's Day in elementary school.
The earliest rejection.
Yeah. You'll never forget the first time you don't get Valentine's Day card.
This is my personality now.
You also don't forget the second time, the third time, fourth, fifth, and through like 900. You don't forget. Then you start, time deadens us all. Let's move on to the next segment, which is a little segment called Candy News. Has somebody found my little guitar that I use to play country songs on?
Can you describe it?
Well, it's brown, it has 6 strings, and it plays music.
I got it right here.
Well, I got a little tune for you. I got a little candy, I got a little candy, I got a little candy, hey, 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 hey. Just singing the Little Rascals song. I found some candy, I found some candy, I want blah, 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 bam, bam.
Oh, my favorite Little Rascal, Stinky.
I'm the new Little Rascal, copywriting. We've always got little candy boys coming in and out of here looking to play music.
Yeah.
Some of them want to rap. You never know what they're going to want.
We're like Warhol's factory, but it's little kids who have to give us candy.
Child musicians.
Little prodigies running around.
Everybody gets their 15 minutes like I do coming out of the basement. Everybody gets their 15 minutes of fresh air. Well, thanks for this candy news that's splattered all over a canvas. I don't know. These Andy Warhol kids. So thank you, little candy news boy. You're so adorable. I know. I can throw my voice. So this one is called Nothing really Matterhorns.
Oh.
This is the big talk in the candy world, and also something that upwards of 5 people immediately sent to me when the news of this broke. It's fun that I'm now, whenever candy news in the real world happens, I get a bunch of text messages.
You're the source. You're the arbiter.
I am the aggregator. They call me the aggregator. That's what they would call me, the aggravator, and that's why I never got Valentine's Day cards. But I showed them I am now the aggregator. As we learned in our Toblerone episode, Toblerone is moving most of its production to Slovakia, and we had an existential crisis in that episode as to whether or not that would mean if a Toblerone would still be considered Swiss chocolate, because that was their whole thing. This is Swiss chocolate, but if it's not being made in Switzerland, is it Swiss chocolate? Yeah. According to the Swiss government, that answer is no.
Yeah, good.
They will no longer be able to have the Matterhorn on their packaging as part of what are known as the Swissness Act.
Oh my God. And they're going to knock down the real mountains, too. I read that.
Just out of spite.
Yeah, that's some hardcore nationalism.
And they're going to take down the Toblerone defense line, and Germany already invaded. So this is actual legislation in the Swiss government that was enacted in 2017 as a way for Switzerland to protect the integrity of the label of a Swiss-made product. Because there's so many imposters that say like, we're Swiss, this is Swiss this is Swiss Miss. I'd like to see her papers, if you know what I mean. Even though they aren't. So under the rules, to claim yourself as a Swiss product, you have to have 80% of your raw food materials come from Switzerland, or for milk and dairy products, that's 100%. Has to come from Switzerland. Who would have thought they'd have to kill their own Swiss baby with this law? But Toblerone will no longer be Swiss chocolate because it's made in Slovakia. So in addition to the Matterhorn going away, the label will also change from saying Swiss chocolate to established in Switzerland in 1908.
Oh, come on. Why even bother?
This is because they want people to still, like, this is not Swiss chocolate. So the font is also being changed. But in reality, I saw the new design, and it's just now a generic triangle-shaped mountain on the box. Like, it looks like the Matterhorn, but less lumpy. It's just like a triangle mounted. So
the triangle mountain is what they used to call pyramids.
Well, this is where they would bury all of the Swiss emperors in the Matterhorn. So cheer up.
Swiss pharaohs. Go ahead.
Cheer up, Matterhorn fans.
Cheer up, Charlie.
If you can't have the Matterhorn, there's always triangular-shaped generic Swiss mountain peak for you to climb. But it is such a cheap... It just looks the same. Like, it still looks like I'm not looking at that and like, that doesn't have the signature striation of a...
This says Tobler too.
Yeah.
If they're going to give it up, they need to just give it up, and they need to start branding Slovakian.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
The high Alps of Slovakia.
What gets your mouth watering more than some fine Slovakian chocolate?
I feel like Toblerone's a company that is so strong in their reputation, they could just be like, we're Slovakian chocolate now.
Yeah.
People are like, that's great.
That's the finest chocolate in the world.
The best Slovakian chocolate.
Yeah,
that's what
there you go.
That's true. I mean, sometimes you just got to let go.
Yep.
I've watched Frozen. Sometimes you really just have to let go.
Oh, well, they can't say that it's frozen anymore because it's actually not 32 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit. It's actually cold water, they call it now. Really cold water that's solidifying, but it's not frozen.
It was almost Ice Ice Baby, but that's also another thing.
They originally wanted to call it Another One Bites the Dust, but they called it Ice Ice Baby. It offended a lot of different. There were in a lot of different lawsuits. So that's candy news. Can I just have one more moment with my guitar?
No, go in the hole.
Okay. I guess I'll just play my zither. Little boys love zithers. What can I say?
We took a poll on Twitter.
106 people say zither. Zither in, guitar out. So, Greg, you picked this week's candy.
I picked this week's candy.
Yeah, explain yourself.
Yeah, because we both have some questions of
I wish
what
I
you
could.
picked.
I wish I could be like, this is a candy that I have such a deep history with, and it's one of my favorites. But really, I was at line at work, and it was on the checkout counter, and I thought, what's a turtle? How come a turtle? I had read about them when I was doing research for the Google clusters about pecan-covered
I bet
chocolate.
you did. Here's the thing. Okay, say what you're going to say.
Yeah, we'll let you have your piece first.
We had Google clusters.
And then we're going to shiv you.
As you talk, I'm going to be sharpening the stick. So just talk loud so we can all hear it over the sound of the... We had Google clusters last month. I like them, but I was thinking...
And you thought, I want to do this again?
Yeah, dude.
Pretty much. But when reading the thing there, we read about the peanut shortage that they went through, and then eventually they had a deluxe one, which was with pecans, and I thought that'd be pretty good. So I'm in line at work, and it's turtle, and all the words are the same except for pecan. I'm like, I want to try it. So I ate it, and I thought, this is a miracle. This is a little miracle on Earth. But I had never heard of a turtle before, and I looked into it, and they're Canadian, and we're looking for international candies to do. So I was like, why not give a little love to America's hat?
You were meditating on the top of the Matterhorn. What candy shall I pick? And then a turtle walked by.
Yeah.
This is
I put him in my mouth. I'm like, this guy's tasty.
Because when you picked this, I was like, oh, cool, interesting, turtles. And then the more I looked into it, I was like, wait a minute. He picked Goo Goo Clusters again.
But with pecan.
And no nougat.
Yeah.
So it's it's giving Goo Goo Cluster. This is like
Here's my thought process.
Please. It was in front of me.
Yeah, here's my thought process. Less research, and then that was it.
All right. This is very similar to Goo Goo Clusters.
It is very similar. It is a handsome cousin to Goo Goo Clusters.
But we did wonder what it would be like with pecan, and it is missing kind of maybe the best part, the nougat. I don't know. Yeah. We'll find out.
But let's talk about, as you said before we started recording, it's turtle time.
I didn't just say it once, though.
Yeah.
Any given opportunity, it is turtle time.
I will say it's turtle time, and I will pull a small sword out.
Or nunchucks, or
whatever.
pizza. You don't know.
It's time to give him shell.
A turtle bar, if you don't know, is essentially 3 parts. It's crunchy pecans, creamy caramel, and chocolatey chocolate. It's a very simple thing. It's 3 ingredients, but it's just like punk. 3 chords, but they do a lot with it.
This is the Ramones of Goo Goo Clusters.
Before Chicago Candyman George Demet came along and made the turtles, most candied pecans were either just sugar-coated glazed pecans or chocolate dipped, like half of it was just pretty simple but effective.
Is this candy?
This is
candy.
Is
proto candy.
Proto candy. Like the Stooges to the Ramones. It's a proto candy. So let's talk about George Demet a little bit. Demet was born in...
Meet Demet. Greet Demet. Oh, meet Demet. Come right on and greet Demet. What?
I have no idea.
You've never been to a Mets game?
I didn't grow up in Yonkers.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's the song you sing at a Mets game. Meet the Mets.
Oh.
Meet the Mets. Come right out and greet the Mets.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
And then a guy with a big baseball head comes out. He's like, whoa.
And then you watch the Mets play. You're like, I don't want to meet them.
I hate the Mets. Hate the Mets.
You leave early.
Yeah.
Here we go to leave the Mets.
As Homer Simpson says, who won, the losers? And I always think about the Mets for some reason.
This is just getting rude.
So Demet was born in Niata, Greece in November of 1891.
Was he from Popcornopolis?
He was from it's a region of Popcornopolis.
Wait a minute. What's his name?
George Demet.
His name is George Demet from Greece?
You know, from the biography I read, I thought the same thing. I'm like, he should have, not to be racist, but he should have a much different name.
Where are the consonants?
And also his cousins in America are the Johnsons.
Okay, something weird's going on. Maybe they're like a military family. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're witness protection program.
From the Trojan War.
Anyways, Demet, born in Greece in 1891, attended primary and secondary schools in Athens, then enrolled in business schools to learn languages.
That's so weird. It must be a name change situation.
Or maybe the family immigrated to...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like maybe they came from where's Demet? Well, in Brooklyn, but maybe Queens. I don't know. But I don't where would...
Let's see where it takes us.
Yeah.
All right. But I want to know now.
As I said, he went to business school, and kind of from what I read, it seemed like the reason to go to business school was to learn languages. But sometimes you sign up for business school to learn English, and you accidentally learn business. His brother, Nicholas Demet, had gone to Montpellier University in France, and then went on to open a candy store in Minneapolis. So it's around this time, the family's moving over to America. He was needing some help with it, so at the age of 19, George left Athens. Same age as Peeps Guy. What's Peeps Guy's name?
Samuel Bernstein.
Samuel Bernstein.
Or Sam Bourne,
Sam Bourne.
Born in Ukraine. Born in the Ukraine. Baby, I was born to pun.
So at the age of 19, like I said, he went to Minneapolis to join his brother. Soon enough, the Minneapolis candy store was destroyed. And instead of rebuilding, the Demet brothers
left. That doesn't sound like Demets I know. They collapsed?
They collapsed.
It must have been the playoffs.
Yeah, it was a playoff, so they can collapse and just move to another city. That's a Dodgers move, actually. We won. We better move. The Demet brothers left to Chicago to work in their cousin's candy store. The 4 men went to business together as partners as the 2 locations of the Johnson's candy stores. There was one on Clark Street, another on Madison Street. Their shop wasn't strictly a candy store. It was like a soda fountain sandwich pastries candy shop, one of those like pharmacy type things. Yeah. Everything
Are sandwiches candy?
I'm still amazed the foundation of pharmacies and candy.
Yeah,
it's
me
just
too.
And soda. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I'm here to pick up a bunch of cocaine.
Yeah.
They're going to want sandwiches too. They're going to want like taffy.
A good old-fashioned pharmacy. There's like 2 left in Los Angeles where you can get food and ice cream and your, let's just call it Advil.
So everything changes in 1916 when Walgreens opened its first store in downtown Chicago, or as they call it, the Loop. And they offered 20-cent chocolate malted candies. The candies were getting really popular, so the Johnson's Candy Shop was looking to get in on this chocolate-covered business. Around this time, a salesman came around and was selling raw candy materials. That person came into the Johnson Candy Shop's dipping room and showed a dipper named Minnie, which is the most like 1916 sentence I've said. He showed Minnie a candy from New York, and her response was, "It looks like a turtle." Which makes me think that they just probably ripped off the basic idea of a turtle.
Yeah, which came first? Like, because turtles you can buy like in bulk and at a place.
Well, it's so strange. Have you heard of turtles, either one of you?
I've seen
Donatello,
I've seen these
Nutella
in the checkout line.
Have you?
Yes.
I know the name Turtles, and I know this guy on the cover, the Turtle Man.
Yeah, the Turtle Man.
Which I hope you did research into, because I
just a little bit.
have questions on his backstory.
This is like a known guy?
Yeah, the Turtle Man.
Wow.
I don't know what his name is, but yeah, this little turtle.
Mr. Turtle, much like a Mr. Peanut type. Like an aristocrat man about town, but also he's the mascot of the
But also a turtle.
I had never heard of turtles before, but apparently it's got a Kleenex Band-Aid thing about it.
What?
Oh, right.
Where
Okay.
it's not an adhesive bandage. It's not a Band-Aid. It's an adhesive
No,
bandage.
that's the turtle promise. You'll find a Band-Aid in every bite. Yeah, that's
minis.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay, so it's like Kleenex. Everyone calls it Kleenex.
but it's
a
actually just
tissue.
like facial tissue or
Yeah.
whatever. It's the same thing with a turtle. A turtle's an established candy already, but Demet was the first one to
Right.
like, I'm going to call it a
Brand
turtle
it.
canonically. Yeah. But it's actually like chocolate covered pecans is the technical name for it. So it's got that going on for it. So this
They're
person,
actually called tortoises.
that's when they're bigger. They have bigger
They
pecans.
live longer. Yeah, no, I've definitely seen these my whole life, and
Never
I've definitely
purchased.
seen. No, I've never bought it. I've never had these. Turtle Man scares me.
Have you never had one before?
I have had a chocolate turtle. I have not had Demet's brand turtle.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I meet Demet's, going out to greet Demet's, but never eaten
And
Demet's.
they've probably.
That confused me. You mean you've had a...
I have had a generic brand
Okay,
chocolate
got it,
turtle.
got
I
it,
haven't
got
had
it.
this branded
Understood.
chocolate
Okay.
turtle. And then I went on a whole thing about the Mets again. You want me to do it again?
a thing that only I understand in this room.
Well, there's some Mets fans out there.
What's the Mets?
Well, you see, the Dodgers left.
The Yankees were the dominant team, but the Dodgers really showed them who's boss. And then suddenly the Mets were there. I don't really know it. Kind of Cousin Oliver situation. The Mets fans are going to kill me. Anyway, soon Johnson's Candy Store started selling a chocolate-covered pecans as a turtle. I think that they were originally peanuts. I don't think they were pecans originally, so I think they went for pecans.
It was a reverse cuckoo. Oog oog.
Oog, thank
They
you.
really
Yeah.
were goo-goos.
Yeah.
So they stepped up the type of peanut. That was a win. And from what I understand, at first it was like a cluster of chocolate-covered nuts, but at some point George Demet added caramel to the mix. There wasn't caramel before. It was just chocolate-covered nuts. Added caramel, and Demet's turtles blew up at that point.
Well, it says on the packaging the original caramel nut cluster
Yeah.
made with USA grown pecans.
USA.
China.
Let's go Mets.
Yeah.
America's team.
So the new confection concoction had a handcrafted look, and the surrounding pecan with the smaller pecan chunks around it, covered in caramel and chocolate, gave the candy a familiar look. Like they all said, it looks like a turtle, so we go ahead. The pecan taking the shell shape, of course, and then the little pecans around it look like little feet. You'll see when we...
I guess.
Do they intentionally try to make each one...
I thought the same thing. It didn't say in anything I read about it, but it feels like, you put a nut, you surround it by nuts, and then accidentally it always looks like a turtle.
This is one of the irrefutable laws of nature.
Surrounded by nuts?
Yeah.
It's a turtle.
It's a turtle. Yeah.
The turtles are running the nut house.
So later in the years, the cousins, the Johnsons, decided to get into the restaurant game, and the Demets, I hate saying it now, the two brothers from Greece followed the candy path, and soon Johnson's became Demet's candy shop. Several more locations opened up around Chicago, and by the 1950s, turtles were selling nationwide and appearing in ads in major magazines. Demet's went through a series of mergers and acquisitions. Nestle purchased the Turtles brand in 1988, who then sold it to an investment group.
When I was telling him get turtles, he asked the Nestle brand, and I looked up. I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
It seems like the Nestle brand is how it's marketed marketed in Canada?
Yeah. In Canada, that's how it's marketed.
Yeah, so we call it Demet's.
They call it
because it still has the little turtle on it.
I think
it's the same turtle. It's the same turtle. I was like, they can't both have the turtle and be two different things.
Oh, one's Canadian, one's American.
Well, he's nicer.
One has a Mets hat, the other one's a man about town. He's nicer, yeah. One's into hockey and it makes sense. The other one's into hockey and you're like, what? I mean, you run out of sports?
We know one of them likes baseball, one team in particular. Do you want me to sing the song again?
So after Nestle bought it and sold it to Invest Group, the investment group kept Demet's candy company and labeled the candy as that to make the idea of turtles being like a humble, old-fashioned candy, like an old pharmacy candy.
This is an old candy.
Yeah, it's an old candy.
This is in line with Greg's choices. I mean, it says it's classically crafted since 1916, but
I just like, a man of history.
It's an old candy. Like, it's an old candy shop sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually the candy and the trade name, I take umbrage with what you said, but whatever.
Greg likes early man candy.
I like when the world was young. Eventually, the candy and trade name were bought by the Brynwood partners, and then again in 2013, they were sold to a Turkish company named, I think it's Yildiz Holdings. Demet's turtles sell over 81 million candy products each year. This includes the Turtles Minis, which are small Turtles Bites, which are individually wrapped.
And the Teenage Mutant Ninja variety. Is this the sort of thing that you like make a soup out of in certain countries?
The emphasis is on mutant. And in different variations, as you found the dark chocolate pecan turtles with cashews instead of pecans. They have sea salt caramel, even though I put seal salt caramel.
Sea turtles.
Well, seal turtles.
Yeah, seal turtles, yeah. They have a dark almond. They also have a hazelnut, which sounds like it's really good. Demet's uses 7,000 tons of chocolate coating and 13,000 tons of nut products. Demet's seems like we were saying earlier, it seems to be more popular in Canada as it's sold as a Nestle product and promoted using a line, a cherished Canadian tradition since 1949.
But it wasn't made in Canada.
I think eating it is the tradition.
To eat is to be Canadian.
That was around, that's not even when Nestle bought them in 88.
1988?
Yeah, 1980 is when Nestle bought them. But it must have been sort of thing that made its way over the border in the 1949, after the war.
Well, it didn't want to get drafted after the war? They cross the border into another country that's in the war. Oh, God. We also have a draft.
The Canadian packaging also has the mascot Mr. Turtle, which we have, like I said, much cooler version of Mr. Peanut.
He's very pretty.
He is very
he's
pretty.
got nice.
Dapper.
He's dapper.
Yeah.
He's got like nice eyes. I feel like he has eyelashes.
Yeah.
Is anyone else attracted to Mr. Turtle? Is this some sort of like subreddit I can get involved with?
Yeah, Mr.
r/turtle time.
Turtle power.
Turtles are well loved where they are popular. They've gotten mentions in shows like The Office has a Turtles episode. Hey Arnold and everyone. One of the characters in Everybody Hates Chris. One of the characters loves turtles.
Everybody hates Chris, but everybody loves turtles.
Yeah. This was not a candy I was familiar with, but the commissary checkout stand at work had them. And after a Google Clusters episode, I was curious about chocolate-covered pecans, and here we are eating chocolate-covered pecans.
Yeah.
We'll talk about finding these, but these are not uncommon, but not common.
They're kind of hard.
They're
kinda
harder
hard to
than your
find.
average candy to find.
Yeah.
Which was almost what Yogi Bear said.
It's harder than your average candy to find.
Yeah, this was...
what about Yogi Berra? Was he on the Mets?
Oh, he was not on the Mets, but he almost had it. He was one of the three teams that...
Hey, I know a deep cut about baseball, apparently, that you don't.
Yeah, this wasn't a candy I saw. Or it's one of those that I probably... my eyes completely glazed over looking for another candy.
It's kind of generic. Like, it doesn't catch your eye other than that attractive turtle on the cover, but it I don't know, you see the word turtles, like it's not like Snickers, or like Kit Kat, like it's just a word.
Yeah,
it's kind of easy to overlook these things.
As my girlfriend saw, she read the label and she's like, oh, turtlets. And I promised to not tell that story on the podcast, and here we are.
That's what the little ones are called. So should we get to tasting these
I think
things?
we should.
I'm down. Let's do it. Let's nibble some turtles.
Yeah, the packaging is sort of nondescript. It's like a big slash of red and then some gold and white trim underneath. If it was a gold and white trim throughout, I think it would have caught my eye because I like striped stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't. But yeah, you got yours in the box because you couldn't find the...
Yeah, I drove all over town looking for these things, went to like 3 different stores, ended up finding them at Walgreens.
Right.
And when I found them, holy shit, I found them. A whole freaking wall.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a similar experience at Walgreens because I looked on their website to see where can you buy turtles.
Yeah, which they do have that.
They have that because they know it's not easy to find. And the first place I tried did not have it. And then I went to Walgreens and they only had those giant boxes, like bigger than what you're like gift-sized boxes. And then I had to go to a Pavilions to get the individual one. I believe there's 3 in each of these.
There's 3 small bites.
And it's on like a support beam.
Yeah.
Like how a Reese's peanut butter cup used to be, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's open this thing and see what's going on here. It's turtle time.
This is a turtle. It kind of looks like a turtle. Here's actually, this one doesn't look like a turtle. Sometimes you'll get little peanuts like the head and the legs, a big shell in the back. This one just seems to have a shell. Maybe it's hiding.
This is so smooth. Smells pretty good. Smells like pretty good chocolate.
Yeah.
The box opens up kind of like...
Ooh, like a cigar box.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
Are those Cuban turtles?
And then they have like a little cushion on top.
Yeah.
Oh,
5 turtles. They couldn't give me 6 turtles?
Look at the cute little turtles.
Where'd you get your turtles from?
Mine does not really. It just kind of looks like a clump of candy. Like it's not.
Yeah.
I don't see arms. I don't see a little head sticking out. I mean, it just looks like a turtle shell, like
Totally a shell.
an evacuated turtle shell.
I feel like, or he could be in there.
He's scared. It's a scared turtle.
The ones I got at work look like turtles. Like
I've seen some that have like pecans sticking out the sides, like arms. Like this is maybe a little more mass produced, I guess.
Yeah.
But smells quite good. Smells good. I have high hopes for this. I'm gonna bite into the chunkier bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, I like fat bottom turtles. You know that. All right, we ready to try
let's
this?
do it. Oh, dense.
Very dense. Again, liking the texture differences.
I like how chewy the caramel is.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate's good chocolate too.
Mm-hmm. Melts nicely.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm digging the pecans.
It's got a very strong pecan flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nutty. The pecan, because mine almost has like a hollow earth.
All right.
Where it's like the caramel on top, and then there's like a shelter between the caramel and the chocolate that's just kind of stuffed with.
I have that too.
With pecans.
It's not a whole pecan. It's like a shredded, chopped up
pecans.
Which is I'm missing that crunch that you would get from a whole pecan.
Pecans are softer than.
Oh yeah.
I feel like pecans are softer than maybe peanuts are soft. I don't know. How soft is a peanut?
I'm trying to. Yeah. I only have pecans and pecan pie, and they're already like.
Yeah.
They're already
liquefied.
Yeah.
It has a deep flavor that you get from pecan, which I'm not a huge pecan fan, pecan pie and that sort of thing, because that flavor is kind of intense and almost alcohol-y, which I know someone here only will eat.
Grow up.
I can't tell if I like it or not. Like, I don't not like it.
Yeah.
It's just such a deep, dark flavor from the pecan.
Yeah, the pecan really dominates. I think I need a little more of a crunch, though, whether or not pecans are crunchy or not. And I was expecting the whole pecan. Did I miss that it was crushed up pecans? Did you guys think it was a whole pecan?
That's how ones like in a bulk candy store are, but I guess these chop them up.
Yeah, maybe it's just easier to mass produce them when they're chopped up.
The chewiness of a pecan is kind of not different enough from the chewiness of the caramel here, that it is kind of all blending into one thing. And comparing it to a Goo Goo cluster, I think I missed the nougat.
Yeah, I like the Goo Goos better.
I missed the nougat on these. And this one just missed the nougat for me.
Maybe the dark chocolate will make a difference here.
Yeah.
I hold these between a Snickers and a Goo Goo cluster. It's as dense as a Snickers, the way I like Snickers to be, and I prefer the pecans and the peanuts, but I still prefer a Goo Goo cluster over a turtle.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's like we're trying to triangulate what the best version of this, of nuts, caramel, nougat, chocolate is.
Yeah.
Because the Goo Goo cluster was like the perfect thing is somewhere in between on the Venn diagram of a Snickers, a Goo Goo cluster, and a turtle.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little further away from a turtle and closer to in between a Goo Goo and a Snickers.
Well, you don't want to get, it might be a snapping turtle. You don't want to get too close to it. I don't know how to feel about it. It wasn't great, but I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, it's tasty.
I like the chewiness. It was a good, dense chewy.
It was a little too chewy for me. Like these are like in a C's candy box.
That's what I would. That's what I initially.
But
said.
these are the types of candies I try to avoid more, like the ones that are just like chewy caramel.
Oh no, you're missing out.
Yeah, I go straight for the caramel ones.
I throw everything else away. Yeah.
Well, then give me half of your C's candy box, and we'll have a good setup going.
You don't get the nuts and chews box.
Oh, the nuts and chews is.
I don't like the nuts and chews. I pick out my own.
You're sick.
I like the nuts. I don't like the chews. Oh no. I hope that soundbite doesn't get used.
You should love the chews.
Yeah.
Aren't you a chew?
Yeah.
God bless you in many ways. You want to try this, the dark one?
let's try the dark one.
I found the dark ones in a place that it was a dark place.
It was a dark place,
It was a dark time for me. I couldn't find it. I had to go to 2 different places to find these. This one smells pretty good. Mine, I don't know about yours, is like not as thick as the other one.
Yeah, the other one was like taller.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it still doesn't look like a turtle. It kind of looks like a clam.
This is approaching more turtle than the other one was. The other one had smooth, round edges. This one actually has like little, what could be legs and a tail sticking out.
Mine looks like a...
this one looks like a turtle.
Oh my God, what are those things called? I used to do a joke about them. The like prehistoric sea creature that's still around, that's just like a shell and a tail.
Oh, like the Pokemon?
An ammonite? Whatever that animal I'm thinking of, that's what it looks like.
The one that evolves into Kabuto?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, Kabutop.
As they say in Latin, it looks like a kabutop. It looks like good dark chocolate. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see if it's any different.
Oh my God. It's way harder.
Yeah. More caramel than nuts.
The chocolate is not better.
No.
I think I like the chocolate a little better.
Oh, chocolate boy likes chocolate.
I like the chocolate a little bit better. But these pecans are crunchier. They're not as soft as the other ones. Like this one almost felt like refrigerated compared to the other one.
But again, the pecan is the dominant flavor without a doubt.
But I think dark chocolate lends itself better to the dark flavors of a pecan.
Sure.
It kind of goes better, I think.
This is too dense.
I like the sweetness of the milk chocolate. I'm still chewing this thing.
These are maybe the chewiest things we've ever... Like this caramel compared to like the Ghirardelli caramel, which was more liquidy. This is the kind of caramel I don't really like because I never stopped chewing it and then it gets stuck in my teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I'm pretty conflicted on this one.
I am too, but...
So how much was yours that you got?
I ended up paying like $3.27 for a box of...
That's not too bad. My regular ones were, I think, $2, and I think the dark ones, which is a king size, it has 4 instead of 3, which I'd hardly call that a king, but that was like $3, I think.
Oh, dang, okay.
Yeah, it was just $1 more. What about you?
I got the classics from Target in Eagle Rock, and they were $1.69.
Ooh, best price so far.
Yeah, well, Target.
Is the classics a single?
Yeah, it's the 3.
It's the 3-pack.
It's 3 of them, but it's a single,
Okay, so let's rate this. Now, let's write down our ratings out of 0 to 5 cavities, 5 being the greatest. What would we give turtles? Oh my God, I got to think about this.
I feel like the answer depends on how much peeps I have in my body when I answer.
Yeah, this is kind of the toughest call yet. Like, I don't know how I feel about this turtle.
What Shredder says.
I never thought I would feel this way about a turtle. So we'll start with you since you're to the left of Greg.
I think whether or not you like turtles is A, how much do you like chewing? And B, how much do you like pecans? And I mean, they're kind of boring for me. I think
they're definitely boring.
Yeah. I prefer the milk chocolate turtle over the dark chocolate turtle. Still be worth investigating all the other different types of turtles. Maybe the mini turtles.
I'm the Teenage Mutant mini turtles.
You got to get the babies and put them in the radiation.
Well, they won't be mini for long. But
guys, it's ooze.
We got to find out the secret of the ooze. I am most interested in that they do like cashew and hazelnut. Like I'd really like to try those different nuts.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Whatever your crispiest nut is.
Give me your crispiest nut, turtle, Mr. Turtle.
So not for me. I'm giving it, I think, okay, so it's not for me, but it's not a bad candy. So I don't want to give that impression, but I'm giving it a 1.5.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's by no means bad, but it's by no means good. I'm not that into pecans. It's one of my least favorite nuts. And I will go on record saying that. Not a fan of this type of caramel.
Yeah.
I will go on record saying that.
I like the judge to recognize that I don't like this type of caramel.
While I do eat it, I do not enjoy it. So I'm going to give it a 2.
Oh, okay.
It's still chocolate. Like I can't deny that it is not bad chocolate. Like it's pretty good. I liked the dark and the milk in different ways.
Yeah, you do. I've seen you at Mardi Gras.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a milk and a dark at the same time.
But who's got $1 million on him?
I only have so many beads. I don't know which one I liked better, but it's not bad. It's definitely chocolate and nuts and caramel, which is never really that bad.
Yeah.
Not as good as a Goo Goo Cluster, not as good as a Snickers.
No.
A lesser version of these.
I like this family.
Me too. I like this
I
family.
like this family.
The Demets are fine people.
Yeah, this is what a dad says before he becomes a deadbeat dad. I like this family, but
But I like my other family better.
however, the chocolate-covered caramel and nuts family is a really good family to be part of. I feel like I still feel like the dad is about to leave. It's weird because I do like these turtles. So, God. I do like pecans a lot. Pecans are probably my favorite of the nuts.
Oh, wow.
They're delicious. I really like them. As you say, it tastes like alcohol. I get a little funny. I get confident. I'm going to give these a 2.5 because they are exactly in the middle for me.
Wow.
They are a delicious candy that I probably won't seek out that often, but if they land in front of me, let's say a Halloween type situation, I will be very excited.
Oh, don't tell us yet.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you what you wanted to do with it on Halloween, I don't think.
I don't think that's not a question coming up.
I gave it, I was thinking 2.5, but that's what I gave Snickers, which is kind of my barometer with this sort of thing. And I did not like it as much as a Snickers, so I had to put it less than Snickers.
I'm sitting here wondering, what does a Snickers do differently other than the type of nut inside of it?
And the nougat.
And the nougat. And it might just be like, damn, do I like nougat that much? Because I didn't know that I did.
Oh, I do.
But maybe like nougat is the thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's the thing. I think that's the thing that is making this less than the other two.
You know what's also a challenge with this family is that there's
This is another deadbeat dad intro.
I'm out of here.
You know what is the challenge?
I left the car on.
You know what else is the challenge with this family? You.
You being part of it.
There's so much competition.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
so you get lost in it, and if you don't stand out,
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what this problem with the turtles is it doesn't stand out as much as it can possibly.
yeah.
It's definitely missing nougat. It's desperately
nougat's
seeking
important.
nougat.
Yeah.
It's not quite there. It's, I don't know. Maybe if it was whole pecans, I might like it more.
Sure.
But the choppedness
Yeah.
of it felt a little cheap, maybe.
Especially in the milk. I feel like we got bigger pecans in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were like chunks rather than
Yeah.
chopped.
Oh yeah.
And talking about this is something I failed to bring up when we were talking about the difference between in a previous episode from 2 weeks ago. The difference between candy and candied items, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's like we've measured the balance of everything so perfectly that we can mass produce this the same way every single time. And I feel like they haven't measured out like the chocolate versus the caramel versus the nuts. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's weird that-
feels like imbalanced.
It's weird that there was literally empty space in the
Yeah.
candy. Like that should be filled with something. Like there should be more nut or something, or
Yeah.
nougat should be in there. Like something. It felt like something was missing.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
Like a nougat vampire came and sucked all of these turtles dry.
yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
That's their main predator in the wild.
The way that those nougat vampires can just swim through the Pacific, right through the slipstream into the turtle habitats. So now I'm asking, would you be excited to get these on Halloween?
No one's ever asked me that before.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so nice. Yeah, I would be a full bar because they get split up in 3. Yeah, I'd be excited to get these on Halloween. They taste good. Let's not rob this candy of the quality that it does taste good.
It does taste good. Yeah, and it's quality ingredients.
Yeah.
and it's very pecan flavored.
Yeah.
So if that's your thing, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Would you be excited to get it on Halloween?
I'm gonna say no. Just because I would rather get a Snickers. I mean, if I got it, I'd trade it out.
But then you'd have to explain what a turtle was to somebody.
Yeah, just like, imagine a Snickers, bro.
But without the parts you like. I would be excited just because you don't see it. But
yeah, there's a novel factor to it.
if it was like an individually packaged one, I'm going to eat it. Like, as we've said, it is not bad by any means.
Yeah.
It's just not... I wouldn't covet this. Don't covet thy turtle.
Yeah, we learned that on Easter.
Thou shalt not covet thy turtle.
I'm trying to look at it as if I never had a Snickers and I never had a Goo cluster. I would really like this, but unfortunately, I've met the brothers. And the brother,
Your brother's really hot.
Yeah, they're way hotter.
we've met Alec, we've met Steven,
This is the Billy?
and then we met Billy. If I met Billy first, I'm like, he's pretty charming, but I met Alec, and I met.
You met Billy
Have
Baldwin?
you met Stephen Baldwin? Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's different enough that it's interesting, but it would not be on my top. Like I've said before, if my mom came and took this out of my Halloween bag, I wouldn't be too upset. I'd rather have a real turtle.
Maybe she did.
Yeah, maybe she did. You never known. Yeah.
She was trying to protect me.
Yeah.
No turtles in this house. Okay. Well, that's turtles. So before we get into our game, we have a pregame plug.
Pregame plug.
We
I
ask you to do one thing every episode. This one, we want to ask you that you can give a one-time donation to the show. If you don't want to sign up for Patreon and have a monthly thing, there is a way that you can just give a one-time donation. Like if you think of it like you go to a bar, you get a drink, you liked it, tip your waiter or your bartender, your drink waiter.
Yeah, your drink waiter.
Give $1 or $2 or whatever you want. If you really liked a particular episode, you can do that.
Yeah.
It really helps us out because, boy, oh boy, did we hear how much money those peeps cost. It would really be, it just helps us cover the costs of things. And you can do that if you go to linktree.com/candyisdandypod. You will see a link to a one-time donation. And as a reminder, if you give a $7 one-time donation, you will get a customized drawing of you as your favorite candy by Kevin Smith, not that one.
And we also accept candy donations as well.
We
Oh,
do.
yeah. Yeah, we'll eat it.
We'll eat it. I promise we'll eat it.
Yeah, send that to my Venmo. You can Venmo some candy. So yeah, you can do that. But now let's get to the game, and we're going into a game we haven't played in a while.
Ooh.
This one is called the Bazooka Joe game. I've still got some Bazooka
boy.
Joes. This is the game where I open up a Bazooka Joe bubblegum and we read the comic and decide whether or not it's funny.
No.
The answer usually no. So let's open up this Bazooka Joe. Let's see what yucks we've got coming our way.
Well, also, Bazooka Joe, thank you for your service.
We do play in the editing. I add My Hero by, whatever that band is, but while I'm unwrapping the Bazooka Joe. Okay, so let's see.
Oh,
Jeez.
no, Joe.
Oh, my
Joe down. Meet Joe Dirt. Joe Meat Dirt. Okay, so this one, we've got a silhouette of Bazooka Joe looking at a suit in a men's store. Now he seems to be in the men's store. He says, I'd like to try on that suit in the window. And wait, why is this all like silhouettes? Like they're getting a little artsy for me.
Maybe it's a reveal at the end.
No, it's not. It's just silhouettes. Maybe
Ran out of color.
They ran out of color.
Yeah. Or it might be like the shadow people from when you have a...
The ones that live in Big Sur?
Yeah, the ones that big... Yeah, those are Dark Watchers. When you have sleep paralysis and you see shadow people.
Oh, yeah, this is the Bazooka Joe where he gets sleep paralysis.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, he has a heart attack in the middle of the night.
So he's in the store. I'd like to try on that suit in the window. The guy who works there says, well, all right, but don't you think it would be better to use the dressing room?
It's a perfect response to that.
I knew exactly where it was going.
I mean, it is
from when he
It is a joke.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that a punchline?
More than we can say for some other ones. Fortune, you will become rich and famous, but only if you believe you can. So that's at linktree.com/candyisdandypod.
Can you throw that at me? I want to see the shadow people.
Okay, here, I'll try to rewrap it in the gum.
I don't want to see it because then I'll dream about it.
Yeah, don't touch the shadow people.
Don't touch, Oh my God. You wanted the gum, right? For those who don't know, he repackaged it and threw it to Beto, and just the gum made it.
And the comic burst into flames in the air. Okay, so let's open one more, and then I have a couple from the Bazooka Joe archives that actually are kind of funny.
Okay.
Nice.
So I think we can agree that one was not funny, but was a joke.
I love the idea of you going through Bazooka Joe archives.
Well,
Microfiche.
like how you, like at some archives, you have to wear white gloves.
Yeah.
You have to pull your shirt up over your nose, like the one Bazooka Joe character. Okay, so let's open this one. And I can throw this one to you also when I'm done.
Thank you.
These are getting old and a little sticky and hard to peel off.
This is like when someone tie a note around a brick and throw it through someone's window, and you open it, it's like a Bazooka Joe comic. What?
I wanted to get dressed in this window. Okay, so Bazooka Joe is with the guy who pulls the thing up over his nose.
Yeah.
So the guy who pulls the thing up over his nose says, it looks like they're in a yarn store. They're buying some yarn.
I'd like to try this yarn on.
He says, in the window? Yeah. He says, the guy with the nose covered says, this enough for 3 socks? Bazooka Joe says 3 socks. He says, my mom wants to knit socks for my brother in the army. Bazooka Joe, yet again a silhouette, says, why 3 socks? Nose Guy says he wrote in his letter, and then he reads the letter, 2 weeks in the army and I've grown another foot.
I don't even understand that.
Well, okay, one of us here is in the army. Is this some sort of like super serum you get when you're in the army?
I don't know what the hell's going on with this guy.
Did he lose a leg in France?
Can you read the punchline again?
2 weeks in the army and I've grown another foot. Now, what I assume this means is that like it makes a man out of you and you like put hair on your chest, you grow another foot.
You grew another foot. Like you
got
taller.
You get taller.
A growth spurt. I just got that.
But like, why would that happen in the army?
Because you're young.
I guess so. Oh, this is a child army.
It's a child army. It's a children's crusade.
Yeah. Like I said, the other one had a joke in it.
Yeah, this one is really...
This one's a play on words.
It's a play on words, but to something that doesn't make sense. Like, do people say, I've been in the army? And well, you know.
Maybe it's a really timey saying.
It's got to be, but like, this is 2023.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. What the fortune is, something you want is just within your reach. Again, that's linktree.com/CandyIsDandyPod. Okay, so now I've got a couple good ones.
Okay.
Oh.
If you say so.
Deep in the archive.
Yeah.
I actually just, this is interesting. I just got a text from my cousin saying that he just listened to our Meggie episode and said it sounds awful.
Yeah.
The episode or the chocolate?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, he's our greatest critic. Okay, so let me get a couple from the archive of some actual funny ones. So this one, Bazooka Joe is with some little girl. He says to her, how old are you?
Yeah.
He says to her, hey, my fountain pen, you swallowed it. She says, gulp. Now he's on the phone and he says, hello, Doc, you got to come right away. Lil Pat, I guess that's the girl. Lil Pat swallowed my fountain pen. Meanwhile, she's like turning red and gagging in the background. Hey. On the line, the doctor says, I'll be right over. What are you doing in the meantime? Bazooka Joe says, I'm using a pencil, of course.
That is funny.
That's kind of funny.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Oh,
that's grim. She died later that day.
Yeah, Lil Pat just passed out. It's not
funny.
bad.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's not bad.
It's a higher tier than the two we just read.
Sure.
It's definitely dark. I like that.
It's one army foot over the one we just read. Okay, so here's another one. The little cowboy kid says, I'm rich, Joe. I've got a quarter. Bazooka Joe says, that's swell. He says silhouette again. I don't know what's going on with these silhouettes.
I got to see this.
The little cowboy says, if I had Rockefeller's money, I'd be richer than Rockefeller. Bazooka Joe says, how come? Little cowboy says, because I'd also have my quarter.
I don't know if that's like funny, but that's logical.
You don't get finances. Let me explain that to you.
If you knew the inflation rate since the time this came out, you would think it's very funny. Garcon, bring out my inflation.
Bring my ticker tape out.
So that's the Bazooka Joe game. These modern ones are the miss ratio. Like, it's so many misses on these modern ones.
I now do the crossword puzzle at work because we have newspapers lying around and I need to keep myself occupied. So they'll have like the 5 single panel comic strips and they're not funny.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Like, it's hard to do a single panel comic strip. It really is. When you have the 4, you could do like set a punchline and stuff and you could play a lot of gags. The first one just has to be like a scene that's already, you have to explain so much. So I'm not saying it's easy, but boy, if Family Circus, I wish I could shoot Family Circus in the leg and then watch it just bleed out.
Well, remember when the dad in Family Circus sat everyone down and said, look, this is a good caramel family. I'm moving to Marmaduke. Moving in with Marmaduke.
A man has needs.
A man has needs. He also has zits. Which is another comic.
I know.
Well, that's been our turtle episode of Candy is Dandy. This is a solid middle of the road candy.
Yeah. You would have no problem eating a turtle.
You would have no problem not eating a turtle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
parting words, give them shell.
Oh, I like that.
Parting words for me, Cowabunga.
Oh, see you later.
Now that is worthy of a Bazooka Joe comment. He's turned into a silhouette. I get it.
Oh no, I'm dreaming and I can't wake up.
Melissa, get me off this crazy thing.